Hey, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, Total Schmidt Show. I'm in Dallas. It's 6 degrees. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people. You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports they happen to be hanging out at.
That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? No. Maybe. Sort of.
Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of... Hey guys, it's Lenny Schmidt. This is Total Schmidt Show. Usually I do these openings, from a beach or a sunny island or a cruise ship or somewhere cool. Occasionally a cabin, sometimes a hotel room, but quite often somewhere sunny and tropical because that's where I'm traveling. This week I'm playing Dallas, Texas, TK's Comedy Club that I've mentioned before. I'm here this week in January. I'll be back in May, the last week in May 23rd. You can see me here in Dallas, Texas. Come on out. But I thought I would do the intro from, negative 2 degree Dallas. That's where I'm at now. And yeah, it's freaking cold. Do me a favor. If you enjoy the show and you know what we do or you want to support what we do, take a look above my head or below my head. There's information on how you can sponsor or support the show. You can join us on Patreon. There's lots of different ways you can join on Patreon. All our supporters are there. We don't have any sponsors. The show is supported right now mainly by our supporters on Patreon and anyone that wants to go to my website, LennySchmidt.com. Go to the Pay If You Can page and you can donate or sponsor us for money. Or you can follow us on social media. Find at Mr. Lenny Schmidt on YouTube, Instagram, pretty much any social media platform. But join the Patreon if you can. I would really appreciate it. Today, Rob Little. When I talked to him on a cruise ship, it was much warmer than I am right now. We were sitting in our cabin. I love Rob. It's a long conversation. He's originally from Michigan, lives in Florida now. I've worked with him numerous times over the years. Him and I launched, I think, the Norwegian Bliss, I believe. And this particular interview came from the Norwegian Encore. So sit back, enjoy my conversation with my good friend, the one and only Rob Little. This means something.
Can we talk about what happened in my show the other night? One of the craziest things.
100%. Yeah, the cop thing? Yeah. Yes, it was great.
So we're talking, I do a bit about cops and doing a ride along, and I didn't even get to that part. I bring up cops, and there's a retired one in the audience, and I said, if you had any crazy things happen, and he says, yeah, I went to go break up a fight, and I got chopped in the knee with an axe. And he said it was a fire axe, which I didn't know there. I guess there's different ones.
Dude, I love how you broke it down. That's the best.
I just kept breaking everything down.
Yeah, right. It was must move.
This was such a gift.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm not religious, but I was thanking God at that point.
Well, it was like 10 minutes of stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, that's 10 minutes of stuff that I don't have to do, and I saved, and I look like a genius, kind of.
Right. Even like when the phone rang, I was like, and we got the chopper on the line right now.
Yeah, that was really funny. I don't think my side of the view. I want to get my point of view.
Yeah. And then when we were taking questions, that lady didn't know what to, like, she got all flabbergasted and couldn't speak.
Yeah, we went out into the audience with a microphone like Phil Donahue.
Yeah. Speaking of that, one time I was in Chicago, which I know you're from.
Yeah.
I was on Jenny Jones one time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Dan Kaufman.
Oh, I'm okay. I know Dan. Yeah, of course.
Comedian Dan Kaufman. We went to a taping, and it was, not to change the subject, but it was muscle-bound women that can't get dates.
Okay.
And they were like, there was one that was actually pretty hot, and she was really griping, and can we cuss or no?
Sure.
Yeah. She was really bitching about every, like, guys only see me in this way and all this shit.
Well, does she have a deep voice?
It wasn't.
Because I can handle the hot body, but if you're talking like this,
I mean,
you get might lose me a little.
She kept scratching her nuts the whole time, but But she went to she said something about like, you know, people say all this, and I got up, I asked the question, and I said, yeah, I don't think it's your the way you look. I think it's your attitude. You're just such a bitch.
Did you say that?
I mean, I don't think I said bitch, but it was very close to that.
Yeah.
And the crowd went crazy.
Right.
Then Dan Kaufman gets up. Little Jewish guy. He's so funny. He gets up and goes, I feel like you're more of a man than me. And the crowd booed him.
Right.
I laughed so hard because he was so thinking he was going to get cheered on.
This will be the best.
Yeah, it was so funny. Oh my God, I forgot all about that until you said the Phil Donahue thing. That was fun though. Have you ever been to a taping like that?
No, man. No.
I mean,
never.
I've been to TV show tapings and
No,
stuff
but
like
they
that.
do this, and they did a bunch of those in Chicago. You know, they did that for a while. They were doing. They did. They did. Jenny Jones was in there.
Oprah?
Oprah, of course, was there.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of other ones that were.
Oh,
done
this
in there.
reminds me of another time. So when I lived out in LA, I was living out there for a long time too, and I was at a pet store one time, and this girl keeps staring at me. She's got a little puppy, and I'm with a friend, and I go, immediately I'm like, oh, she's seen me at a show.
Right. There's no way she's into me.
Right.
This can't be an attraction thing.
Well, I knew she wasn't into me, but the way she kept looking at me, I'm like, she just can't remember where she saw me.
Right.
So I'm saying that, right, to my friend. We come out, and I take a better look. This lady, it's Kaylee Kuko from Big Bang Theory, the blonde.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory had just started.
Right.
And she was on this show called 8 Simple Rules with John Ritter or something.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And so she thought I was looking at her.
Right.
I knew her.
Like, oh, right.
But I didn't. So I went up and I talked to her, and then I finally realized who she was, and we started talking a little bit, and I got a picture with her.
Right.
Flash forward to, like, Big Bang Theory is the hottest show on TV.
Right.
Probably, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 years later, right?
Right.
I take that picture, and I blow it up, and I print out two, one to give to her and one for her to sign for me.
Right.
I go to the taping.
Yeah.
And there's a time in the taping where they take a break and they start like signing stuff for people and stuff. So I run up there and I show her the picture. She starts bawling and looks at Sheldon, the guy Sheldon.
Yeah.
And goes, oh my God, look. And he starts like kind of tearing up.
Oh, the dog?
The dog.
Oh.
She still has it,
Yeah.
but she never had a picture of it as a puppy. She said.
Oh, no.
So she is like ecstatic.
Right.
She comes up, hugs me.
Yeah.
And I proceed to tell the story in front of the whole audience.
Right.
Like, I thought you were into me, and
Right.
checking me out. And then the whole place is dying laughing. Oh man, that was crazy. I forgot all about that too, man. So I got that picture somewhere. I don't know where, but.
Dude, she obviously signed it for you then, right?
Yeah, she signed it and gave it back, and then I let her. She's like, "I can keep this one." I'm like, "Yeah,
of course,
for
yeah.
you for sure."
Oh, dude, you made her day. That's how cool is that,
was
man?
pretty cool. So
That's very
we
cool.
had sex after that. Not her and I, me and Sheldon. Oh God, have you ever had anybody like a big actor hit on you, like a gay guy?
No, I never have.
Yeah,
Never.
I've had a couple.
I don't think so. I think I would remember if they would have. No.
Oh yeah, you'd remember.
Yeah, I would sure remember. No.
Yeah, I've had a couple.
No.
It's not what you want because you're thinking like, oh, this dude really likes me, and like, oh my God, maybe he'd see me for something down the road and something. And no,
It just flipped around.
he
Was
just
it Kevin
likes
Spacey? Were you one of the Kevin
bears.
Spacey?
No.
In that group?
I'm not gonna say who it was, but
No, but I've had gay managers and photographers and agents hit on me.
Asians.
No, agents.
Oh,
Managers, agents. I don't know if they were
I thought that was a weird
No, these are
group.
white guys. But it was years when I was starting out. When I was in my early 20s, you know,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to get an agent and go doing photos and stuff. And there was one agent I was with kind of that wanted me to do nude photos, and I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and he would, you know, he was totally that. I knew where he was going. I figured it out. And I did a shot in my underwear or something like that. But
No,
I,
you didn't.
yeah, I did. But he was overly
every time I saw him, there was some sort of comment about, let's stay and have some drinks. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're not.
I must draw you.
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good. And he would use I can get you this, I can get you that, and get you sign. And I was smart enough to know. I'm like, no, you can't do any of that. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, because I've been screwed by a couple managers early on when I got to LA, just money wise though. Like they were like, if you pay for these photos, everyone's like, pay my guy for new photos. And then we'll get you into this, and we'll get you on this show, and we'll do that. And early on, I'm like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, I did that.
And I spent all the money, and then never heard from them again, or didn't get any work,
or they just got you into a class.
Yeah, and then you had to pay for that, and then so after a few years in LA, I was like, okay, I get that any offer is bullshit,
right?
Really, because especially now, because I'm nobody, and I have no talent. And I haven't done anything yet. So anyone that looks at me and goes, "You're going to be, I can do this for you," you're like, you're totally full of shit. I know you are.
This is another. You keep triggering all these memories I completely forgot.
This is how we work.
I went on an audition, and as soon as I get there, they start asking me for my social security number.
Oh my God, really?
And you know who it was?
No, who?
The Tom Cruise space people. I forgot what they're called.
The Scientologists.
Scientologists. Yeah. I didn't know at first because the sides didn't say that, or the whatever the audition didn't say that. Right. But when I showed up, I'm like, this place looks familiar. I've heard of this, and then they start right away. What's your social? We just want to, and I go, well, if I get the gig, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So if you want to book me, I'd love to give it to you.
There's money involved, and you're gonna get
Yeah, that wasn't. I didn't get it,
dude. I used to live by the center on Sunset.
Okay.
The main center back in the 80s or whatever. But I went in and I bought Dianetics from him, and I did a tour, and there was a guy I knew and I hung out with and talked to for like a day. But at the time I kind of knew what Scientology was, but I wanted to read Dianetics. I go, well, I'm going to read Dianetics.
I don't know what that is.
That's the book that L. Ron Hubbard wrote.
Okay.
And it's kind of the beginning of Scientology.
And you bought it there.
Kind of like their Bible thing, I think. So it's their basic thought process, which is basically the bottom nuts of Scientology is just believe in yourself. Okay. It's a mind thing. It's almost like a manifestation type of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, that part does sound good. But then it gets weird after that. They want you to join the cult, the center. And then now you're there every day, and now you're working every day, and then you get sucked into the community, and then your whole life gets engulfed by Scientology.
Right.
And these people, I mean, there's still actors that do it. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's changed now too, because
doesn't it cost a lot?
Well, it costs your life. I mean, you don't make any money. you most of the money you make goes back to the church or the community. I mean, Tom Cruise, of course, is the uber fucking, and he's the god. He walks in, and you're not supposed to make eye contact with him. It's a whole thing. But I know.
Were you there when he walked in?
No, I wasn't. But I know people that work in the community. And I almost went into it, but I walked away from it, and they never hounded me. Usually they hound you forever. And they just let it, because I was just in early, I was doing open mics, and I was doing extra work, and I wasn't really nobody. You know what I mean?
Did they see your act or something?
I think that might be it. They saw my act. Like, this guy is horrible. We don't want to be associated with this guy.
He keeps saying no to our advances.
But I know people, and now from the story is they have all these different properties and apartment complexes and churches and stuff. They make it look like it's this big community, but inside there's no one there. They're empty. The whole thing is falling apart.
Really?
For Scientology, yeah. But there are people that still are really hardcore into it. Like
well, it's huge down in Tampa, too.
Is it really?
Well, they have a huge complex there. Yeah.
That's so weird because it's so creepy. It's a cultish thing. Have you watched any of Leah?
No.
You should watch some of that stuff.
I just don't care about it at all. So
but you should watch it just for the way they treat these people afterwards and the hounding. I mean, it's scary, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, they threaten you. They they'll show up at your house in the middle of the night. I mean, there's stories. Leah Remini's show, though she ran it 2 seasons, I think. Yeah. It was called Behind the Wall or something like that. I remember it. And she interviews people that tried to leave, and there are people that left and then but lost their family, their husband and kids and everything. Yeah. Wow. It's completely insane. I don't know. It's a cult. It's a complete cult.
Kind of like leaving Amish.
Yeah. When you leave Amish, you can't go back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You go back, your kids have the little beard, they're looking at you. I don't know you.
Right.
Father. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't. I'm glad I'm not part of any of that. Have you ever been approached by somebody other than the Scientologist to join like a cult or anything? Especially in L.A.
Yeah, in L.A. I've had a few.
Did you really?
Yeah, I've had a few come and join our commune or our community. They like to say that. They go, if you join our community, we all live in this area and we do this for the master or the leader or whoever it was. There's early on in my Hollywood years, because I lived right in the Hollywood,
right?
Hollywood Boulevard. So I worked and walked up and down Hollywood Boulevard every day. But I mean, I don't hang in those areas anymore at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even like going to Hollywood. I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to be like, is there room for advancement in it? Like, can I be the master one day?
That should have been the best question ever. Well, what do you got to do to be the master?
Right.
Other courses?
Can I break off and start my own, like in a different city?
What if you guys train me for a while and then I start with my own little mini master group within your master group?
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about, I just want concubines. That's all it is. I mean, how do you make them stay and be your concubine? Because a lot of these men just let their wives do it.
Oh God, yeah. No, dude, it's
When
creepy.
you watch it.
Well, did you ever watch the Jim Jones movie?
No.
The Jim Jones movie starring damn it, I can't remember his name.
It don't matter.
It was creepy. I mean, there've been a bunch of different movies about it.
Really?
But there was one that was kind of like a miniseries, and it was messed up. It was even to the point where one woman watched Jim Jones have sex with her husband in front of her. Because he was the one that was committed to the group.
Oh my God.
And that was the one that drank all the Kool-Aid and killed himself.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like... And they killed people that tried to leave. People tried to leave the press. They killed the reporters. I mean, it was insane.
Wow.
It was It's unbelievable the mindset that someone can go... Like, you can almost look at a teenager and a kid that's come from a broken home and go, I can kind of understand how you could get manipulated. That's how a lot of these kids get manipulated into sex lives and sex drives and sex workers. But for adults and grown men and older, I mean, these guys, they just fall for it, dude. And all these other communes were the same. David Koresh was the same similar thing, although the ending his was worse.
Yeah.
The ending. Because the FBI, the ATF screwed that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's two ways I want to go with this, but I'm going to go the way I think that I wanted to talk about anyways. Okay. When you said that they're already kind of... What did you say about the kids that came from...
kids come from broken homes and community, or broken homes, and they end up in a life of sex workers, or work in the streets and stuff.
But you said they're already manipulated.
They're easily manipulated because, first of all, they don't have a strong family background or any character.
Right.
At least one parent that could be the one, or anyone in their family, or a family structure. If you come from a broken home and, your dad's an alcoholic, your mom's a drug dealer, and you come out of that community, you have no sense of backbone, no sense of family. And now you're just surviving. So they end up in a life that sounds, and all it takes is one adult with charisma to go, hey, and you think about it, if you spent your whole life as a kid, I mean, I get along with my parents. Here's the thing.
We both talked about this.
We have similar family, different ways.
I was just going to say, you can either go sex worker or become a comedian.
Yeah, no, you can definitely become a comedian. But if an adult shows interest in you, that ignites you. Yeah. You're like, well, my father hated me.
Right.
I'm like, oh my, so right away you identify to that. You know what I mean?
It's funny because there's been a couple people, as an adult, I've met a couple older men that I've been like, oh my God, you're like a dad figure to me, and you're like really cool about stuff. And
right.
But early on, speaking of like being manipulated and all this stuff, the whole thing with the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah.
And I did you see the documentary?
I didn't watch the documentary.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then after, Oprah did one with everybody. With the whole audience were people that were manipulated by an adult and sexually.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
And so I'm watching this now. I'll never forget it because it was a huge part of my childhood. I was in 5th grade, and that's when Beat It and Billie Jean came out.
Right.
And that I'd never heard. To me, it was the best thing ever. Like, he was, like, we went to church one time. This is the story that happened to me. We went to church. Nothing bad at church. But I didn't get touched or anything.
Where are we going with the church story?
Well, here's what it is. I grew up in a small town, so our churches would close and open all the time. We'd get new ones all the time.
Oh, wow, all right.
So me and my sister, my mom would work nights. So my dad was gone at this point, I think. And so my mom she would need to sleep, and me and my sister fought all the time. So on Sundays, she would make us get on the bus or a van or whatever it was that came out into the country to pick up kids to go to church.
Right.
Which now looking back, it could have been anybody.
Yeah,
we didn't know.
Yeah, you're right.
We just got on whatever stopped in front of our house. So we got on this van, and they took us, we started out at Methodist, then we went to, I don't know, Presbyterian, all these different religions. We didn't know what one we were going to. We just, whatever picked us up.
Right.
So the last one that picked us up, I was in 5th grade, and it was a Baptist one.
Okay.
And I'll never forget the priest or pastor or whatever he was. His daughter was in my grade, and she was smoking hot, and she was just like, you know what I mean? Anyways.
Yeah.
So I was kind of giddy to go there. But when you break off into classes, did you ever go to church?
Yeah,
growing
sure,
up?
yeah. Well, I did that type of church. I was Catholic.
Okay.
But once or twice I went to a Baptist. It was like an all-day thing. You broke off. And
Well, don't you guys, you have catechism, so that's
we had
kind of similar,
catechism.
right?
Yeah, but if you're in Catholic school, you learn all this stuff in school. But then we had something called CCD, which if you went to public school, you could go to CCD once a week, and you would get things for your
That's what my friends
confirmation
did.
and all,
Yep.
all that stuff.
So we break off into classes, and I'll never forget, this little girl had a Michael Jackson Trapper Keeper.
Okay.
And I was just like, we were poor, so to get something like that would have been like gold to me. So I'm like staring at this. And I don't even know why the teacher started talking about it. He started talking about music, and he didn't even see her Trapper Keeper because she covered it up. And he said that Michael Jackson was the devil's music. And I didn't know the word blasphemy or any of that kind of stuff back then. But I got so angry. I mean, this guy had to know I was mad as hell because I was just red. And the girl that had the Trapper Keeper agreed with him.
Right.
And I just wanted to fucking punch her and take that Trapper Keeper from her. And I went home that day and I told my mom, I'm never going to church again. You can never make me.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what the hell happened? And I told her, and she was like, first of all, that guy had no business saying that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But back then, talking about being manipulated, Michael Jackson already had kids manipulated by us loving him.
Yeah.
So if I would have met him and
Yeah.
he wanted to touch me, there's no doubt I would have let him.
Yeah, right.
I fucking loved him so much.
Right.
That I'd have been like, hell yeah, what am I doing? What are you doing? Let's go back to this secret room. I don't care. Like, can I wear the glove?
Well, that's how
I didn't care.
Like, I didn't watch enough of the documentary to
Yeah.
know what happened in the background, but I do know that he paid parents off and shit, so I know...
Yeah, and the parents weren't catching on at all.
Well, I can't believe that.
They were all so excited that he would take their kids on tour.
Yeah.
And their kids would get to dance with him.
Yeah.
Like up on stage during the show.
Right.
And this one kid was like his main kid for a long time.
Right.
And then like a new one came and he quit kind of taking this other one, and the kid got all butthurt about it.
Right.
Not to,
Yeah.
but, and that, like, they interviewed these kids, and they the two main ones were like talking about, I mean, they knew some personal details.
Right.
That to me, it's impossible that he didn't do it. But
Right.
again, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, his music was I know it's horrible, horrible, and I don't wish it on anybody. But in a comedic sense, and I know I would have did it. I know I would have, because I loved him so much. But
Well, that's a superpower of manipulation.
yes, and that's what Oprah started talking about.
Right.
And how it...
Because it's bad enough that you're an adult, but if you're a superstar adult, now your eyes are like... Well, that's why these guys, for years now, they've been coming out on this for years now. And people with power are taking advantage of somebody because of the power that they have. Like, do you watch the morning show at all?
No.
The morning show's on Apple TV, and it started as kind of it was inspired by Matt Lauer and what happened at the Today Show.
Oh, what did happen?
Matt Lauer, we sexually manipulated a number of people on the show.
What's the difference between manipulation and...
Well, the difference was this. You're like, there's sexual abuse is when you abuse someone sexually, you do something that they don't want. Sexual manipulation is when you're in a position of power and you give the perception that this person will or will not suffer for not giving in to you. Now, it may seem like it's consensual, but
It's not. It's still you're
Right.
using position of power to gain a sexual advantage over
Right.
another individual.
They don't want to lose their job.
Right, and he used to have, yes, that's exactly it. And Matt Lauer had, this was in the show, this was in the morning show, Matt Lauer had a button on his desk that he would push that would lock his door. So if you and they're talking to him, he hit the button, the door would lock, and he could do whatever he wanted with whoever's in the room with him. So if you were a PA or whatever, and I don't know how deep the story went and how many people it went, but it happened with several different people on the Today Show, and it came out and ended up destroying Lauer's career.
Right.
And then afterwards, they came out with the morning show, and Steve Carell played that character on the morning show.
Okay.
And it basically started that way. So the whole first season is about it coming out that he did that. Him losing his job, and him dealing with from his end and all this stuff. But it's basically, and it's similar to Kevin Spacey walked that line as well. Kevin Spacey, not only did he sexually abuse people, but he also used sexual manipulation, because he did the thing where, hey, I can get you want to hang out on the set? Do you want to, you offer them things that are bigger than life?
Wow.
And then they have sex to get those things. That's a form of sexual manipulation.
Yeah.
And if it's with someone that's, first of all, with a minor, of course, it's illegal.
Right.
And then, because a lot of men in that position, or anyone in the position, will go, well, it was consensual because they did it of their own free will, sort of, but they were manipulated to do it based on the power from the individual. So for years, and Weinstein, that's his whole thing. He did that for decades.
Yeah.
But
who's the other guy that had his own island or whatever?
Oh, well, that was Epstein. And dude, that's still fucking out there. Dude, there's people, I'm telling you, there's a list. There's a list out there of people that have been brought up on charges and all this stuff.
Like
and
the
there's
Prince?
Well, yeah. Well, Bill Clinton is on that list now, and they've been talking about that lately. And
That
there's
surprise
people that have come out and said, yeah, one woman came out and said, yeah, Bill Clinton, I did this and I did that, but nobody's pursuing it. You know what I mean? It's all about power and position and who has what. And I don't know what's true and what's not true, but I do know who's on the list, and I do know certain people have been persecuted, and I do know certain people have not.
Right.
And if you get into a position of power, that's where Weinstein got away with it for years. He was in a position of power. And what pissed me off more about that situation than anything was when it happened, a bunch of people came out. Glenn Close was one too. She was like, I had no idea this was happening. And I was like, fuck you. Yes, everyone knew. I knew. And I was a fucking day player in LA. I was nobody in Los Angeles. Everybody in LA knew that Weinstein was this pig that used to fucking sexually abuse actresses. Yeah, it was a long running fucking, I have a meeting with Weinstein. Better bring a friend. It's a whole, everybody knew it.
Wow.
And then it just started to come out. And then the Me Too generation, things started to change.
Right.
And rightfully, everything got thrown back, and now that's not, now it's different now. Now it's guys like certain guys like Chris, I don't want to misrepresent who it was.
Right.
But a lot of producers now, men, won't have a meeting with a woman alone.
They bring somebody in.
Just to cover your bases. Like when I taught at my daughter's school, one of the things they taught us was not to be alone with any child unless there's another adult in the room.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's just for coverage, because all it takes is for the child to go point a finger at you, and you're done. Whether something happened or not, and nothing happened. And I know of guys whose lives have been destroyed because some kid said something and nothing happened.
Right. And you know what I see from this is, there's gonna be two dudes that want the same thing.
What do you mean?
Like. Two Weinsteins.
Oh, really?
Like he's got a partner, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm down for this."
Oh, that's
Can you see that happening one day?
Against two. Yeah, but that's it's like so hard to do that stuff. And again, rightfully so.
Yeah, it was probably hard to do it by yourself too before.
I don't know. Not when you own a film studio.
Yeah.
Some of the stories that came out for him were horrible. In fact, these guys are getting charged with rape that happened decades ago. Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he drugged people.
Right.
But then he got out of jail on a technicality, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't hear what the technicality was.
It was something to do with about the way they questioned him. They didn't question. It wasn't about the lawyer, but they worded a question wrong, incorrectly, where he implicated himself, and that's illegal.
Oh.
And then he got out. So when you read it, you're like, and there are still people that think he's innocent. There are still people that are like, he didn't. Yeah, there's no way that he would have done that. No, it's proven.
Did you watch the Playboy thing where all the guys were kind of talking about the sex that's happening behind the doors, but the drugs were like just part of it?
Yeah, no, but
nobody thought that was like.
I watched a documentary on the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
Back then in the 70s, that was a whole different.
Yeah.
That was just Sodom and Gomorrah going on.
Yeah.
In the hills, and nobody gave a shit. Yeah.
But the drugs were a big part of it. And that's when Bill Cosby did a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
was at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah. Because he used to hang out there.
Yeah.
He came up during
All
the
the
early is the show he did with Culp. What was that detective show they did before?
I have no idea.
It was early in the late '60s, early '70s.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was a detective show he did with Brian Culp or Bill Culp or David Culp or something.
I have no
Google it
idea
right now.
But I definitely remember watching that, and then the women were talking about like that. You know, if they didn't make the main Playboy Mansion, there was like smaller places that they would take them to,
Right.
And they would have to like hook up with the men that came there.
Yeah, right. They have to work their
That's
way up
where
the
it se-
shady,
Yes.
the seedy,
That's when it seemed
seedy
like.
B and C team. So suddenly now you're banging
And
that.
they were still gorgeous girls.
Yeah, gorgeous girls are banging the head maitre d'. Hello, ladies. You know, they're like,
And maitre
I
d'.
gotta sleep with this guy in order to work my way up the head
I
bus
just
board.
parked my car. Now I got to hook up.
This is bullshit. Well, you're not getting a tip later.
You're getting a tip, but not. Oh my god, dude. We really ran the gamut here on things
Dude,
already.
I know this one all over the
This
place.
is a good one. I know, but it's fun. Like, they're just triggering different weird things, man. What else is... That all came from the stupid cop thing.
Oh yeah, from the cop story the other night.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had anything weird. I don't know. I was trying to think of different things that's happened on ships lately, but...
I never have had anything weird happen on a ship.
No?
No, I did. Did the nude cruise once. That was kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
Twice I've done those.
I've done the swingers ones a lot.
Did you do the nude cruise?
It was one was a nude swingers cruise.
Oh, okay. Did you get nude?
That's what everybody had. They always pose it like this. Did you have to get naked? And I'm like, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I did a couple resorts and I got naked and did it.
Did you?
Yeah. I did the show nude.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I went up.
That's a lot of pressure.
They got me. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And the first time I did it was awesome, and there was like no pressure once you're up there.
Right. Right.
But the second time I did it, so the same place had me back, and it wasn't much long. It was maybe 5 to 6 months later.
Okay.
And they go, "Hey, we got an opening act for you this time," and I'm thinking, "Oh, good luck to that poor son of a bitch!" Right.
Right.
It's the most popular guy on the resort's daughter.
Oh God.
Who is living in New York now,
Yeah.
but grew up in this
Community. Right.
So she's been naked her whole life.
Right.
She comes on, she tells these stories. There's no way I can follow her.
Right.
Because her stories, I mean, this is the crowd for her.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if she'd been at a comedy club, it wouldn't have been a big deal because people would have been like, nah, whatever, you know. But these stories, she had one joke. They weren't even jokes, basically. They were just real stories that were super funny. Like one, she said, you know how when little girls sit around and they talk and they're like, have you ever seen a penis before? And some girls are like, no. And she goes, yeah, I saw my dad's today. I saw my brother's yesterday. And saw my grandpa's. And she's like going off and the crowd is dying.
Right.
And then I'm just like, I go up after, dude, I eat shit so bad that some Latina woman starts heckling me and then starts talking about my penis being all shrunken up because I'm nervous and it's turtling.
Oh, first of all, you're not supposed to do that in the community.
That's what I said.
Yeah, right.
I yelled right back at her. I go, hey, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
She didn't care.
Oh my God.
And the crowd didn't seem to like back me at all.
Oh no.
And they be the like 6 months ago, I was the funniest thing ever to these people.
Yeah, right.
And this time it was night and day, dude. And the first time they gave me a nice hotel down the street. This time they give me a camper on the grounds.
Right.
So now I can't even escape.
Oh God, you're right.
So I go back to my room or back to the camper. I don't come out until it's time for my flight, and I get the hell out of there.
Yeah, right.
And nobody came and checked on me or anything, dude. It was horrible.
Oh, dude, that's the worst.
So next time,
and you were naked.
naked and afraid.
Yeah. That's the worst.
It was the worst. And I don't think I've been that shriveled up in my life. Like I was Like, you know it's going bad that your dick's like, I'm out of here,
Yeah,
man.
I'm going. I don't care. You take the heat.
Yeah. It was so bad. So if you ever do something like that and they go, we got an opener, go, well, let me hear who it is first.
Well, no, if I do
them another time.
I was just talking about corporate gigs with Brent and Sarah. I have riders in my corporate gigs because I don't like doing them. So I put a lot of rules in there. There's a lot of rules. One is no opener. I don't want an opener. I'll go up and do it myself. I don't want them putting up Johnny from the mechanic's office,
right?
That everybody loves, and he goes up and tells them jokes about everybody that they're already, cause, you know what I mean? Because
right,
like, one of the things,
anything you could talk about.
Yeah, and one of the things I do is like I'll set a package where I'll write about your people, but that'll cost you more, or I'll just do my act. So if he goes up and just works the room, and I do my acts, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I just go no openers. That's one of the things.
Yeah, I haven't had that happen before, but I did have one bad corporate. I thought it was going to be my best one ever. Yeah. It was for John Deere.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be all blue-collar dudes,
yeah,
you know?
Cool, yeah.
And I show up, and it's like 40 to 60 different John Deere, like, business companies, all under one umbrella, but none of them know each other.
Right.
And this is like their Christmas party where they all get... So... There's the two brothers are the main guys, and they go, we got one rule: don't talk to our mother. And their mother's sitting with them.
Okay.
And I go, yeah, no problem. And I go, is there any language issues or anything? They go, no, you can say whatever you want. When they say that, don't fucking trust them.
Yeah, they don't.
Always do some tester jokes.
Yeah,
first.
right.
Because they all say that they're adults and they can take whatever.
Yeah, but they're
sometimes they even say the dirtier the better.
Sure.
You throat punch that motherfucker immediately because it's not true.
Right.
It's never been true for a corporate.
Right.
And so I go up and I said one little joke, and it wasn't even like I said a dirty joke in a clean way. Mm-hmm. And the mother instantly turned on me.
Yeah.
And she's sitting from you and me away.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there and the two brothers are here. And the two brothers are good cop, bad cop. One's super nice, tall and skinny. The other one's short and fat and a dickhead.
Okay.
And they just... So the mother and this fat fuck... I'm saying it as I am, but this son of a bitch is like just glaring at me the whole show. And now all the workers can see this. So now no laughter at this point. I do my time.
How long are you supposed to do?
Like an hour.
Oh.
And I'm probably 20 minutes in, maybe.
Oh, God.
I know.
Okay.
There was one table that loved me, and it was because they were the table that actually suggested me for this party.
Right.
And it was at Grand Traverse Resort. Do you know where that is?
Oh, I know where that is.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's Michigan?
Yeah.
I love that. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah. By Traverse City. So
yeah, I love Traverse City.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, me too. And then, so we're doing this, and I'm like, did they really? Like, I didn't even realize what I'd said that pissed her off. I get done, and they haven't paid me yet. Right. So I'm in the back of the room, and the two brothers walk up, and the big one goes into the mic. He's talking to the mother. Whatever you do, don't say anything bad about the comedian. And hands her the mic, and she goes, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I'm still here!
Yeah.
So they go on, and like, she kind of said a couple things that was like, sorry, we'll try to do better next year or something. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
And so, the tall, nice brother come back and he says, hey, sorry about that. He was very nice. And everything. And, so I went and hid in my room like I always do once a bad show happens. So the next morning, I'm like, I'm going to be the first one up and the first one out of this resort.
Yeah, right.
So everybody else thought that too. So I'm going down the elevator packed.
Right.
Everybody's nodding. Nobody's making eye contact with me. They're all treating me like I'm a leper, dude. It was so bad. Oh, but all I said was something about, instead of saying vagina or puss or any of that, I called it a pumpkin.
Right.
And she got pissed off that I said that. And I was like, oh my God. Because I asked the brother, I goes, what did I say that pissed her off? And he goes, "Oh, she's not mad." Dude.
Come on. I know. Yeah.
He said, "Oh, something about a pumpkin or something." I go, "Oh my God." I go, "You guys told me there was no rules on language."
Right.
And that was the bear, you know.
Pumpkin was the deal breaker or whatever?
Yeah. I said something about a bald pumpkin. I keep making it worse and worse.
Yeah, right.
I was fucking this bald pumpkin. No.
I'm slapping it upside the head.
But yeah, that was the only bad one besides the second nudist one that I can remember where it went really downhill fast.
I did a couple bad ones, but my worst one was early on. I used to work for Little Caesars Pizza.
Okay.
Before I did stand up, and I worked my way from like a dough maker all the way up to I was running all the stores in Orange County, like 10 stores or whatever.
So there was room for growth.
Oh, there's tons of growth. There was. There was even room beyond that. You could go work your way up. At the time, they were trying to be a national chain.
Right.
And I worked my way all the way up to like area. Yeah, right, exactly. Illich is the main thing there. So they opened up a California market, and I was out there at the beginning of it, and it was when there's only like 2 or 3 stores.
Little Caesars? Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, they did. They tried to become I think they tried to become corporate nationwide.
Okay.
And then they couldn't. It got away from them, and they couldn't do it, and they franchised off the stores.
Oh.
So they're still corporate, I believe, in some Michigan places.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're corporate anywhere else. Plus, I don't talk to anybody from that time in my life. It's weird. There's no one during that. There's one person I talk to occasionally, but it was a long time from my age of 20 to the age of 20, almost 23, 24.
Okay.
And it was 70, 80, 90 hours a week. I would drive to 12, 13 different stores. I hired people, I fired people, I trained people. I was really, I was deep in the company. The company was growing, and it was growing so fast, I was too young, I couldn't handle it. So it was growing very fast. So I got burned out.
This is part of it though.
No.
Is it weird to fire somebody when you're that young?
Yeah, it sucks. I was never a fan of it. I didn't like hiring or firing people. And then there was other times where there's a couple of people where we were growing so fast, they were pushing people they would hire like someone that was a area supervisor for Wendy's in Florida. And he goes, we're going to put him through our training program, but then we need him to be an area supervisor for us. And then he would work for me, and I go, this guy can't even run a store. And they would go, we need him to be an area supervisor. I go, how are you going to, is he going to oversee 8 stores if the labor at his one store is at 34%? That's crazy.
Right.
Because labor is 12% higher than it should be. And it's because he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything. How are you going to, and so I had these arguments all the time with them. There were a couple of guys, one guy hated me to death. His name was Ron Kerr, I think. He really hated me because he was supposed to shoot right through. And he was just, he wasn't working in the store.
Okay.
And I would tell him, like, Ron, you got to kill. And the problem is,
you're a kid.
He was older than me, I think, and I was young. But he ran the store that was the highest volume store, and I ran that store for a while, which is one of the reasons I shot up.
So you're even probably a little more cocky about it.
No, it wasn't
when
that.
I was there.
It was that's the easiest store to run labor in because the money coming in. You made so much money from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You did most of your volume from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and you had to be ready for the rush. And if you were, it went like clockwork, and you blasted. We made $12,000. I think it was like $10,000 a night or whatever. We made a lot of money at that store.
Okay.
I can't remember what was the numbers off the top of my head. It was their highest #1 store.
Okay.
And his labor was always at 20%, and I would run like 8% labor in that store. I go, if you're set up, you need less people to work because you're set up and ready to go. Most of your labor is used getting set up. And then when the rush comes, you just need 5 people. You just keep moving. There's nothing to worry about.
Right.
But he was never set up right. He was never ready to go. He was always had twice as many people working during than he should. And I would go, Ron, there's no reason you're running. And that was my argument. I was like, if you're running 22% labor in the highest volume store, I go, if he goes into a half that volume, he's going to be running 30% labor. I go, he'll never make any money on the bottom line. He'll get crushed.
Right.
The food lines always stay strict at 12. Food is always the same. That doesn't change. Labor is the one you can change up or down. Because you can have more people. If you're not ready for a rush, you need more people to get through the rush.
Yeah.
If you are ready for the rush, then you need less people. You know what I mean? So that way you're prepared.
That's weird. Most people wouldn't see it that way. They think if it's a rush, you need a lot of people.
Yeah, it's all about prep, though.
Yeah.
Like, look at it like in the simplest form. I used to do this in training. In the simplest form, let's say you're sitting here and your job is to hand someone a milkshake every time they walk up. Okay, and now next year you have 2 milkshakes, and you have 1 and 2, and another guy comes, you go, crap, you got to get him to go make the milkshake.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if they're coming and you have 100 milkshakes, now you're ready. You can just keep moving. Yeah, just keep moving. And because the farther you fell behind, because then when you run out here, you got to take labor from here to go there.
Right.
And then when you do that, you got to take labor from there to go. You know what I mean? It's a chain reaction that affects the whole store. And when you're busy,
there's no controlling it. The business
Right.
just keeps coming. And I can't. We got onto this because of this reason. I worked my way up pretty high with Little Caesars, but I got burned out. I was young, and I always wanted to be a stand-up. And around that time, I was starting to dabble in it or think about it, and I ended up quitting and leaving. I left it kind of on bad terms, and went and got another cook job, but then started doing stand-up. But the year I was at Little Caesars, one of the years we had a major national convention back in Detroit, right when we were still growing. They flew us all to Detroit, and we went, and Louis Anderson was our performer.
Oh, cool.
Right? And that was the first time I ever saw a live comic. And it was great. It was a huge conference room. I mean, I was blown away. I was like, this is so... And I love Louis, and he's... there were a lot of similarity. I'm big with association. Like, you know what I mean? He had family issues, too. Same thing. I was like, oh, my God, I get it. So years later, when I'm doing stand-up, I still knew people in the company. They go, hey, we're doing a convention, a mini LA convention. Do you want to be the entertainer?
Yes.
I go, I would love to do it. Well, the problem is, I was only 2 or 3 years into doing stand-up.
Oh, no, I got a story like this.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
I was not ready for a gig, let alone a corporate gig.
Right.
But I thought, I'm like, I know everybody. I know most of them. I go, so I wrote some stuff for people I knew. I did a top 10 list of things that you don't say in front of Jim Scruggs, who was our big boss. And I did all these different things, right? So I thought I was excited. I showed up. I can't remember. They paid me $500, maybe $1,000. I can't remember. But I walk in, and I started getting heckled from the minute the show started by a guy in the middle of the room who took over my area when I left. He was the area supervisor for the area that I used to have. And he never liked me while I worked for the company.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he buried me. I mean, buried me. The show was fucking horrible. It was maybe 20 minutes. I could barely get through it. I got wrapped through, and then afterwards, the Jim Scruggs guy was like, he's like, hey, he gave me the check. He wasn't happy about it. Because when I left the company, he kind of fired me, and they owed me money. Like in California, they have a strict, you have like almost like a severance thing. They owe you 3 weeks of money. And at our final meeting, he said, I don't think I have to pay you this money. I go, you definitely have to pay me that money. So he ended up giving me my money to quit the company and leave. So, like I said, I left on kind of bad terms. But he was the guy that paid me the night of the gig. And he was real nice. He was real pleasant. He was awesome. I mean, the people I knew were very nice.
Okay.
The guy who was a jerk was a jerk.
Was he a jerk even after?
Yeah, Oh, he all the way out the door, dude. He haffered me all the way out the door. And because he's an area supervisor, you have managers that work under you.
Yeah.
So he's got these 10 little yes men that are just heckling with him. I mean, it was terrible. I got eaten alive. I got heckled bad. I got made fun of all the way out the door. It was, and it was all just, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to handle a corporate gig. And if I was ready, I wouldn't do that gig now. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this gig. There's no way. I know what to expect from so-and-so. Otherwise...
Yeah, but you're stronger now. You could give it right back and shut him down.
You're right. I could tear him apart. But it's a corporate gig, so you also got to be careful how you're... You know what I mean? If you're tearing down a heckler in a corporate gig, you know what I mean? Cause,
it's all about the money.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll never forget that gig. I was so mad. I was so embarrassed. God, driving home, I was so embarrassed. I thought I was going to make a big impression in front of my friends, and I just ate it. I mean, hard. And when you're eating, and you got to keep going. You're like, so what's next?
Right.
Oh,
I got this top 10 list. Turn you, Letterman.
It was the only thing that worked. Yeah, it was the only thing that worked during the whole show. And only 5 of them got a big laugh.
Oh,
They're like,
man.
one that got a big laugh, I knew was going to get, the rest of the show's a nightmare.
Okay, I have a very parallel story. So I went on a cruise, and I saw George Wallace.
Oh, all right.
He was the comedian, and I basically stalked him the whole cruise because I was 19.
Right.
I hadn't even did comedy yet, and that's all I thought about. And so I remember it was a Royal Caribbean cruise, and he was the comedian. And so I talked to him, and then I got asked, once I started comedy, to do cruise ships, but to do a corporate, because when I started in 98, and nobody had websites yet. That was brand new.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Well, that was my degree. So my first website was badass. So everybody thought...
Sure, that you were the real deal.
I'm a big deal, right. So I remember guys in Detroit would be like, yeah, I'm opening for Rob's website next week.
That's pretty funny. That's hilarious.
So I ended up I had a lot of doors open for me because I was doing people's websites, or there are a lot of comedy clubs and a lot of comics. That's how I toured with Pablo Francisco for 4 years. I did his website, and then they were Power back then. Power.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Power. I forgot about
Yep.
that. Yeah.
And so, anyways, so I get an email off my website from the Burger King Corporation, and they want me to do a corporate. And I'm like, oh yeah, and I think I'm being professional back with them. I'm like, how much time, and they said 60 minutes. And I'm telling you, dude, if I had 5, I mean, that's how new I was.
Right.
So I asked like my best friend at the time that was a comic. I go, you gotta come with me. I go, how much money do you want?
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know. I think he said 500, and they were paying me 3,500.
Right.
Which was insane to me at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, done.
Sold.
I go, you have to do as much as you can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask these 3 guys if I can take some of their bits. Like, we were taking everybody's bits we knew.
Right.
I think we even did like a Brian Regan set in there for a minute just to fill some time.
Oh, God.
And they told us that, and this is before he was who he is now, but they had Jeff Dunham the year before us.
Oh, God. Okay.
Who was
but
big.
He's still Jeff Dunham, though.
Yeah, he was
Whether or not
still
he's
big.
huge, yeah, right.
But not to what he is now.
Yeah.
So, of course, I know who Jeff Dunham is, and I'm thinking, oh my God, dude, we're going to eat shit so bad. We get there, we start, it's exactly what we thought it'd be. We ate shit from the moment we started. My buddy bailed after like 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
And I got to fill 55 minutes. Now. I'm telling you, I might even have did a Sam Kinison bit in there at one point and yelled. And, I mean, it was so obvious, whoever's jokes I was doing.
Right.
I was emulating them,
You became them?
Yeah.
You were doing Richard Pryor.
I didn't know how...
You're a boy. You're a man now. You're a man?
Ice Cream Man. I'm doing Eddie Murphy. I'm doing...
Those are money down. Ice Cream Man is coming.
Anything I could think of. It was like they knew every single bit I was doing.
Well, they did.
Yeah. There's no doubt, because they were like furious after. Furious. And as it was like he did everything he could to not give me the check.
Sure, yeah.
But he ended up giving it to me.
Right.
And my friend who went with me saw it.
Yeah.
And blew up on me. We were best friends. We still are good friends today, but not like we used to be. Because he saw the money and he goes, "What the fuck?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I said whatever you want, you tell me."
Right.
And he goes, "Well, you didn't tell me how much you were getting." I go, "I'm getting it."
Yeah.
Because it's my website. It's all the work I put into it.
Right.
You know how many guys' jokes I had to steal to do this?
Plus, you did 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
yeah,
if you'd have done more time, maybe I'd throw you more money.
At the time, we didn't know anything different anyway. So I thought I was being more than generous with him.
Right.
Because I let him say whatever he was going to say, I was going to say yes.
Plus, technically, you are. If he's opening, you're closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your gig.
That's probably
The
more
fact
than
that
I'd
you
give
both,
a guy nowadays.
The fact that you both sucked doesn't matter.
We did so bad. And he was supposed to get... I don't want to get into it. But whatever. Whatever. It sucked. It sucked because it's like I lost one of my best friends after that, because we never were good after that. We are okay now, but it's still not. Anyways. Wow, I don't remember how we got on that.
We started working on corporate gigs, man.
Yeah. That was one of my other... So those two are my worst ones. Burger King and John Deere. I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting.
I did one more in Peoria. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was. But the owner's son sat up front and heckled me the whole show, and nobody would do anything about it. We just go, "This is how you roll. You're the owner's son. You're going to sit up here." He was like, "Yep." I mean, no one cared. After the show, I looked at the guy that paid me, and at the time, I had been working a while. I knew how to work a room.
Right.
This kid just wouldn't shut up. You know what I mean? I would get a couple of jokes in, people would laugh, I'd get him going, and then he'd be an asshole, and they would stop. And he was an asshole all night. Afterwards, I looked at the guy.
Go after him?
Well, I went after him a little bit,
Yeah.
I did make fun of him. He just didn't care. I go, "Look at you, little rich kid, just sits around, does what he wants." Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, he just did not care. And I walked to the guy afterwards, I go, "What was that?" He goes, "That kid's a prick." He goes, "Nobody likes him." Nobody. He works at the company. Shouldn't be working at the company. Dad lets him go into a murder. I can't. I want to tell you. I apologize.
So too bad you didn't know that ahead of time, because you could have been even harder.
I would have been. Because in the moment, I'm like, it's a corporate gig owner,
right,
walking a line. But at some point, I did go, fuck this, and kind of went at him a little hard. But even then, he was just like, bring it on, man. Bring it. Go. I mean, he was real an ass. He's really an asshole. Like 19, 20-ish. Come on. Go ahead. That's it. And I'm like, oh, you little fuck. I did everything. I threw the old stock.
Yeah, whatever.
Your mom should have swallowed you one.
Right.
You know?
He's like, yeah, she should have.
Yeah, man, maybe. Then I wouldn't be here. Why? Then I wouldn't be here to give you shit. You know? And the crowd's like, oh my God. I mean, it's just...
Or they're like, oh, he's doing it again. You know?
Yeah, no, every one of them was like, they knew it. No, they all knew. They go, he's an asshole. Everything we do, he's an asshole. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Was the owner there?
I don't think he was. No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, because you thought he'd walked up and said something to him.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was there or not. I remember talking to the guy that paid me afterwards, and him going almost like, that's here you go. That's the way it is.
Well, at least they weren't mad at you, though.
Yeah, they weren't. But it was
still
45 minutes of shit that I had to deal with, because he started immediately, and it was just blatant heckling. There's a difference between, you suck,
right,
or you're not doing well, or whatever, and a guy that just wants to just fuck with you. And that he did from the get-go.
Yeah.
I
remember there was a couple times when I was starting out, people would yell out, you suck. And there was like, I didn't have like a comeback for it yet or anything,
Yeah.
Because I was sucking. I remember.
Yeah, you're like, I agree, sir. I'm trying to do something about that.
Did you ever... That's why I'm here. Did you ever work Ann Arbor?
No, I never worked in Ann Arbor much at all. No.
It's a different kind of crowd, but
is it a college crowd or is this? Okay.
It's mixed, but they're like kind of almost artsy fartsy kind of.
Yeah, I did Lansing and all those other connections, and all that stuff.
They're different. Ann Arbor's different. It's But anyways, I'm doing the open. It's my third time on stage. I don't know why you never forget the worst ones.
I know, dude. Because you know why? Because they burned into your head. You're
the
like,
good ones, like the ones.
Sometimes I'll forget a great one. I go, oh shit, I got a standing ovation that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've forgotten standing ovations. Right? I go, oh, that was a really good one. Oh shit, yeah, that killed that night. You know?
I definitely remember the worst ones over any standing ovation.
Right. Yeah. Well, they hurt, dude. They physically hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, you physically.
This one was my third time on stage. I was at Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, and I know the chick, I'm not saying her name, but this chick before me goes up, and the guy who runs the room is very strict, and he was like, I think we got like 5 to 7 minutes or something like that, and she's at like 25.
Okay.
And he is flicking the light like a strobe light.
Right.
And I mean, he's a little tiny dude, but man, he's like Napoleon. He is like his bite is bad. Like he's tough dude. So she's not getting off, and he comes up to me. I'd never met. Now I know him. I headline there all the time. Whatever.
Right.
But he at the time he comes up to me and goes, "You got 2 minutes." And I go, huh. Okay. And I didn't know how to adjust.
Yeah.
Like, I could do it now, but not.
Yeah.
So I just go up and I said everything I got as fast as I could.
Right.
And it couldn't have been quieter in there, dude. Pure crickets. And I just remember thinking, I'll never play here again. And I thought I was going to quit after that, too. Like, it was that bad. I was like, whoa. And then I had to, one time...
Who gives you 2 minutes and why?
Because she was way over her time, so now everybody's screwed because of her.
Oh, God, yeah, okay.
And she's just this piece of crap comic anyways. So then I worked with 2 comics. I'm sure you know them, too. They're guys that work ships now. And it was... if I say the city, you might get it, but it was... I was working for Dave Carlo, at this Fairview Heights room.
Right, okay, yeah.
And he double booked it.
All right.
So he moves me over to the
Westport
room. And the 2 guys, it's a 2-man show that I'm coming in on.
Okay.
And both these guys are living legends of St. Louis.
Okay.
And I don't remember which one was opening. Oh, yeah, I do. I do know which one. So the first one opens and does 45 minutes.
Oh, gee, okay.
In the opening spot.
Okay.
And then they come up to me and they said, you got like 5 minutes for feature. And I go, oh, I'm more of a guest spot then is what I am.
Yeah, right.
So I go up and I eat it for
Really?
5 minutes, like bad. And then the next guy goes up and does another 45, 50 minutes. And they both crush.
Right.
Like, I mean, they own this city, you know.
Right,
so
right.
they're crushing. And I don't know what they said, but I wasn't there the next night.
Yeah.
I was right back at Fairview Heights.
Right.
And I don't know who was double booked, but that person I think they moved them over to Westport then or something.
Right.
But that Westport room, have you played it?
It's been years since I've been over
It's
there.
a tough room, man.
Yeah.
I just did it for the first time like last year.
Yeah.
And it was I felt about the same.
Really?
It was, to me, it was going good, but my style is like, I like playing with the crowd too.
Right.
And they literally kick anybody out if that talks in the audience.
Oh, really? Okay.
They barely give them one chance.
Oh, so it's just it's straight material. So you can't even address the word.
They told me too. They come right up and
Well,
said,
that seems weird these days because that's kind of the thing. You know, crowd work is kind of a lot of.
they told me not to do it.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay. And then they have another room too, that Streets of St. Louis. That's like by the casino there.
Yeah.
That one's phenomenal. You can do whatever you want there, like
Right.
a normal.
Right.
And it's a funny bone, and that one is super fun. But that Westport one is, I mean, I already had it in me that I was nervous playing there.
Right.
Because of that time, you know. And then when you go up and do it, and I think it's going good, they actually kicked out some of my friends.
Oh, did they
Because
really?
they were talking to me from stage. But I was talking to them.
Right.
And then next thing I know, they're all getting up and leaving. I'm like, what the hell happened? And then they kicked them out.
This seems a little harsh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I learned my lesson not to just do material there.
Dude, let's wrap it up. We're over an hour,
Okay.
man. That was good.
Yeah.
Dude, this was great. Thank
There's
you.
a lot of stuff.
We covered a lot of bases. Dude, right to the camera. Tell whatever socials you want to throw out, man. Plug them out.
I'm playing the social on Norwegian tonight.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, man.
I wish I could promote my socials, but I just got hacked.
Ah, fuck. Let's try this again. After the social tonight. So what, do you want to plug your website? Or
Yep,
okay.
roblittle.com. Just put out a brand new website. And I got a new logo and all this stuff.
I heard that's your thing.
Yeah, man, I love working on websites. I love any of that kind of stuff. And I had to start a new Facebook page because I got hacked. So I'm still fighting, trying to get that back.
Yeah, that's a little messed up. I can't. But you still own your domain, but he owns your Facebook page or has your
My
Facebook page.
business one.
Right.
Yeah,
your fan
the
page.
like
kind of.
page. Yeah. So thankfully I still have the personal one, but yeah, I can't. He blocked me right. I can't even see it. He
Really?
blocked me. Yeah. But people are telling me he's posting constantly, and it's like usually weird things. But I still have Instagram, and I started a new Facebook one.
Dude, I can't believe Facebook can't step in and do something about that. That's
Especially being a verified person, too.
sure. Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you call a lawyer?
You know, a friend of mine said that this happened to them, and they contacted the Attorney General of Arkansas.
You told me that.
And so I did, and I actually gave them shit about it. And they wrote me back, and they said that they did contact Facebook after that.
Oh, okay.
And said they made it sound like it was very off the cuff almost, not that they did anything big, but they gave me links. But they were like to cyber security and shit like that.
Yeah,
Nothing,
after the fact. There's nothing that helps you now. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to go in and find out who took it and get it back from him.
they should be able to in a heartbeat.
They could. They're not gonna. They won't.
Facebook just doesn't. They ignore you.
Right.
Never once have I been contacted by them.
No, I told you I had a financial thing with them once. It took me months to clear up.
Yeah.
And if you need to contact them directly, it's insane. I
It's-
appealed something too. They shut down one of my ad things, and I appealed it. And I go here's the information we need. I gave a bunch of everything, documents, everything, attached it, and it was in that interface that they do the troubleshooting interface or the complaint interface. They'll send you a specific link. You follow it. You upload those documents. I sent it to them and got an immediate response.
that said, we've carefully looked over your documents and decided you're
right.
still suspended. I go, it was 10 seconds.
Right.
I go, I sent you 5 documents, and you in 10 seconds you looked over everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a bot. It's a bot response. So
Right.
they go, we're not going to do anything.
Right.
So I don't. I think there's one guy working Facebook back there, and he's just doing nothing.
Not in the complaint department. There's
No,
nobody.
right.
Nobody.
All right, man. Dude, thanks for doing this.
Thanks
This was
for having
awesome.
me,
I
man.
appreciate it, buddy. Take care.
Yep.
You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies. January 11th through the 14th, I am back in Dallas, Texas at TK's Comedy Club. Also Steakhouse, also Cigar Patio, also Speakeasy Bar hidden downstairs. Come check it out. 4 nights, 6 shows. TK's Comedy Club in Dallas, Texas. January 11th through the 14th. January 15th, I will be doing the monthly show at the Universal Bar and Grill in North Hollywood. Come check it out. It's myself and a number of other established comics working on new material. It's a 3 or 4 hour show. It's a lot of fun. They have burgers. I always mention food, but come in for the comedy. Get a burger while you're there. Wednesday, January 17th, I will be back at Molly Bloom's. That's San Clemente, California. That is an hour south of me. I used to live in San Clemente. Come on out. Check it out. One night, one show, 8 o'clock-ish. Check it out. Molly Bloom's, San Clemente, California. January 20th, you can see me at the Sand Trap Sports Bar in Beaumont, California.